Hi tea lovers, it's Diane from California Tea and Herbal, and today I want to tell you about the 5 types of tea. Well, are there only 5? No, but for example, yellow tea is a tea that most of us will never ever even get to taste. There's just such a demand inside China that very little of it makes it outside. I've tasted it once in over a decade, and you know, it's probably not going to happen for most people. So we're going to cover the teas that are readily available now online in tea shops, on our site at calteas.com. They are out there and it's so exciting. And so you should know what they are, why they're different, and then we're going to go to the other side of my kitchen and I'm going to show you what they look like before they're brewed and after. Let's just start out with the 5 types. We've got white tea. White tea is just the freshest, newest leaves on that tea plant, Camellia sinensis plant. And it's picked and then it's just allowed to wither and dry, and really the oxidation process never really takes place. Slightly, but pretty much not an oxidized tea, as is green tea, because with green tea after it's picked, before it's really allowed to oxidize, it has that oxidation process stopped, and it's stopped by heat, either by steam or by pan firing or frying. It's said either way, depends on who's saying it, but heat stops oxidation in green tea. Then the 3rd type is oolong. Now that's a little more complicated because there are ways to process oolong that are going to differ depending on the oolong that we're talking about. But let's put it this way. Oolong is a semi-oxidized tea because it can go anywhere from about 8 to 10% at the beginning and then be oxidized all the way to about 80% of the way to black. 4th is black tea. And that's tea that has been allowed to oxidize. And what happens there is, again, the taste is changing as we're going through amounts of oxidation. By the time we get to black tea, you've got a stronger taste in most black teas than you're going to have on the less oxidized tea types. And here's the one that really excites me because it's just starting to gain in popularity. Now it has a cult following, and that's Puerh tea. Puerh is a tea that has been actually fermented microbially, and it gives it a very unique taste. I've used the word musty. I looked up the word musty. It's not a particularly pleasant word, but I did hear Chef Wemnisher use the word musty about a song, so I don't feel as bad about it. But it has that kind of almost like an earthiness to it. Absolutely delicious. You can taste that kind of fermented taste. And might sound horrible, but look at kombucha. Puerh is wonderful. If you haven't tried it, I would definitely suggest it. And I'd suggest that you start with something that maybe has something added to the puerh, just to kind of get you into what the taste is about, but not go, ooh, you know. We have one called Vanilla Mint Puerh, and it's under black teas on our site. Read about that. It is absolutely delicious. In fact, I absolutely love Vanilla Mint Puerh. So now let's go look at the teas and we'll just talk a little bit more about them, and then we'll sign off for today. All right, friends, here we are on the other side of the kitchen, and I've just finished brewing all 5 of these. I want to show you the colors first of the brewed tea. My little light here makes this humming noise. Now, I'm going to pull back a bit. I guess I'm as far as I can get. But, as you can see, there is such a beautiful difference in tea. This is what I love so much about it. There's such a variety. And you might also notice that the white tea and the oolong tea are very similar in color, because this is a particular type of oolong tea that actually brews to this very light color, as opposed to a more oxidized, which would be much more toward the color of the black tea. Now let's go one by one. The white tea. I want you to also notice before they're brewed how, well, let's say that the colors are closer than you might think. White, green, oolong, black, and this pu'er with ginger. What that tells you is that teas may actually be the same sort of depth of color and yet be absolutely totally different in taste. The white tea being picked or plucked and then just allowed to dry and not really getting any much chance at oxidation. There's a tiny bit of natural oxidation. Becomes a very delicate tasting tea. The green, because of the way it's processed and the stopping the oxidation by heat, it gives it, depending on whether it's steam or the roasting, pan firing, pan frying, the process is going to give it a bit of a different flavor. The steaming will make it more kind of fresh and vegetal, and the roasting or pan firing will give it more of a toasty flavor. So we move to the oolongs. These are all over the board, and honestly the processes used to do the various types of oolongs are going to differ, and the taste will be so different. I mean, oolong is to me one of the most interesting types of tea because I can have a delicate milky oolong like this one, or I can have a very smoky dark oolong like Wooey oolong. And then the black tea. Now, black tea usually looks pretty much like any other black tea, and yet there's such a wide range of flavors. From a black tea like this from China to a black tea from India, they're going to taste completely different, and they're going to reflect the area and the conditions in which they're grown. And then pu'er. Pu'er. So dark, so complex, sometimes compared to wine. It is an experience every tea lover should have. At least try it and see if it's for you. This is a ginger pu'er. I prefer the vanilla mint. I'm a mint vanilla kind of person. But the really cultic pu'er drinkers want the old cakes of pu'er, which have that really musty kind of earthy, fermented flavor to it. They want that so much. So it's just a really cool tea. I hope you will try it. On our site, it's under black teas. Okay, tea lovers, as usual, we try to keep them short and sweet, but I sure hope that you've enjoyed this and that you have learned more about the 5 types of tea so you feel more comfortable when you're shopping for tea. Please subscribe, please like, please continue to comment. You know what? We're thick-skinned, and if you have something you think we can do better, whether it's photographically, whatever. Now the photography and editing, hey, this is new to us, but we are willing to work hard on it. And you know, I think the main thing here is that it's supposed to be fun and educational. So appreciate it, subscribe, like, share, and then I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.